aligning. Let's just wait on YouTube. Okay, looks like YouTube's online. We're gonna allow people time to come in. We'll play a little different. Let's play a different intro today. All right. Let's have a little fun today. Let's play this one. Todd Medina, Soldier One Studios, listening to an instrumental by the legends UGK, Bun B, and Pimp C from the south side of Houston, Port Arthur, Texas. Yeah, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I know I'm biased, but the best music in the world comes out of Houston, Texas. Yeah. Got a little soul speak. Talking about this trip that we're all sharing. This ascension, this unveiling, apocalypse. All the horrors and all the dreams come true, wrapped up into one. This whole trip's about us getting back to us. Looking our own divinity in the eye. Here we go. Just remember, the road will always be golden. Even when your faith and the highest thing you hold and something outside yourself is shattered to pieces. Yeah. The road will still be golden even if your prophet's words prove altered with lies applied to serve the selfishness of our minds. Oh yeah. Truth is stranger than fiction. The road will still be golden if ETs descend from the skies and we discover that we were born of the light through their seeds, sharing their lineage and their lives. The road will still be golden if and when the nukes begin to fly and electricity becomes a dying dream and a renewed quest for living. The road will still be golden when science and the stars collide with Jesus and the Anunnaki, as Nibiru meets a third eye. Oh yeah. The road will always be golden. And I am only certain of one thing. My own divinity, and that my place is here and now, and I know I'm golden, and I know I'm soul. Oh yeah. That was pretty cool. Well, woo! All right, so we got a new friend in today, Justin Sane Wood. I've never met him before. He's got great energy. I went to his page, and like in typical Solargy fashion, we're going to get to know each other in front of all of our brothers and sisters, and right on. So let me get him up here now. And second show of the day. We don't have anything else planned today. It's a light Monday, but I think we might come back on and do something else. Most likely today, just impromptu. Let's get Justin up here. Here we go. I think this is his first time using Zoom, so it might take a second. There you go. See, that wasn't too bad, was it? Can we hear? Oh, can't hear you. Oh no, you're showing that you're not muted, so it might be your device. No, try unplugging it. Is it a phone or a computer? Looks like a phone. Try unplugging it and see if the sound.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You might now try to plug it back. Now try to plug it back in and see if it works.
No.
Yeah, it's working. Did you plug it back in? Okay. I guess you'll have to, I don't know what happened. But if you unplug it, it's working. There you go. I can hear something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So it's working.
Wonderful. Okay.
So what's happening? Cool. It's good to meet you, brother.
Not much. You too, bro, for sure.
Yeah, it's good to meet you.
I creeped the page heavily this morning. I love what you guys are doing. I mean, this is really great.
Yeah.
This is really great.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming in, honoring us with your presence. This is our primary broadcast vehicle. It's a show called SOULSPEAKS 5D, where we just have a conscious conversation about real-time intel, and people share their skills, abilities, experiences, and everything else in a raw fashion, which I think is the highest level of the highest level of transformational code available to us. The highest level of transmissions, downloads, and activations and channelings come from conversations like this. So it's a pleasure to have you on here. It really is.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. And it's an absolute pleasure for you to reach, man. I mean, like, this whole thing to me is very new. Very, very new for me. I lived a wild life for a long time, but I believe it was just Earth School building me up for this moment. So I could help people become woke or wake up, And I'm very fortunate for that. But I agree with that philosophy of shared experiences being the only way to make a sound decision on your experience that you're about to embark on. Because hypotheticals and assumptions are the way the world is living, and it's just not good. These people living with these assumptions of everything. It's like, listen, if you don't do, you don't know. And if you don't know, you don't grow. So I'm not sure what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how stunted people are and how comfortable they are with being stunted. Like,
well, that cognitive dissonance has been, I guess, a byproduct or a characteristic or a symptom of the codependent energetic field or energetic paradigm that we're leaving behind. And, these epiphanies and revelations, and then, of course, the communion, the community, the interactions, the co-creations and collaborations, I think, are really leading the way. And I'm with you, because I can tell you that today I know more today than I ever have, because I know less than I ever have.
Wonderful. Good way of putting it. Love that. Very good. Very good.
Let me ask you, I too share a wild past. And I still have I howl at the moon every now and then.
Yeah, you and me both.
So I can relate to what you're saying. Telepathy is in full force. So it sounds to me like, from what I saw on your page and from what I'm picking up from you now talking, and also just from your frequency and your energy from your page and right now, that you had a traditional wake-up experience. Something came in and hit you with a 2x4 across the head. A universal gift that might have seemed like a burden, but it ends up being a blessing. What happened to you? When did you wake up, and how did it go down?
About a year ago. So I come from, real quick, I'm not ashamed of any of this. I would do everything I had to do again to get to this point, because I'm so free. And you're right, I was given a gift, and the gift was the gift of sight, to see things clear. And I always have been very self-aware, so I'm very fortunate for that. But being given the gift of sight has allowed me to see through the bullshit. And the bullshit is thick and heavy within society. And I'm grateful for it, because I'm going to lift the veil for a whole lot of people, I hope. But for me, I come from a middle-class family in Canada, by Toronto. Very fortunate. I had a lot of things that a lot of other people didn't have. Very good family morals, which I believe helped me to be able to see. But yeah, my grandparents I have two sets of grandparents that are like parents, and I have very good parents as well. Really very little divorce in our family. I think that the people that have that are given certain lessons through that, but I just wasn't learning those lessons. So for me, drugs was a big thing. My addiction was heavy all the way. I have high energy now. When I love something very much, I'm very passionate. My mother tells me to ration the passion because it gets me into trouble.
You're like me.
But
You jump in with both feet.
oh, hell yeah. I'm all the way, man. I'm all the way. So, I started the same process as everybody else. And my process just was like, I want to be a kingpin, and I want to just have the lifestyle and see what it can treat me with. But I had already had a great lifestyle. So money really was, we weren't rich, but like, sure, money was no problem. So they gave it to me. They enabled me with that aspect. And it led me down some dark roads. So eventually I was functioning, started with the easy stuff and ended with the hard stuff in a hard way. And very hard way, the worst, the worst.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's okay. I spent 20 years doing that. And it just was lesson after hard lesson after hard lesson. And I didn't see them as lessons until a year ago.
Yeah.
And I still had to learn one more within that year, but there's something happened to me in a year. And it was really weird. Like I knew, you couldn't put me in a room with drugs and not have me do all the drugs in the room. Like that's the way I was. I did them all the time, and it didn't matter. Didn't matter how much clean time I had either. If there was drugs in the room, we were doing them. And that's just the way it was. But I learned some very hard lessons, and within those hard lessons of losing family and losing friends and many deaths, and close deaths myself many times, something just happened. Like to be honest with you, I wish I could tell you. I wish it was, counseling and therapy and whatever other forms society thinks they can fix people with. It wasn't for me, and I only speak with authenticity and honesty. And I live my life that way now. And I'm very grateful for it, because the gift that I've been given was to exempt me. I learned 20 years of hard lessons so that now I can help teach people about, some of the things that their kids are going through on the same level. So this is where I'm at now. It happened overnight. It was literally like a wake-up call for me. I was in tune with something spiritually. I wasn't looking. It found me. And I believe I'd hit a point with my lessons that I could look back at the amount of progress or lack of, and thought, okay, there needs to be direction. Yeah. And I'm just very grateful for, I guess it's existentialism in an aspect, but spirituality is there 100%. But I'm very in tune with that, and I'm very grateful for it, because it's the only way in life. Like
we don't have honesty. A choice. We don't have a choice. Let go or be dragged. It's coming one way. This is a collective ascension. And we're fractals. We're caught up in this big tidal wave. And the way I look at it is, we've done this before. A lot of people talk about that. And then I feel like I always picture a wave. It's a collective wave. And, if you can, come into a higher alignment, which is an ongoing thing. It's not a done thing. It's always ing at the end of everything, ascending, expanding. And I feel like I'm like on this surfboard, and I want to get as big a ride off of this thing now that I'm aware enough that I have some understanding of whatever this is, that I can maximize, the ride. Hang 10, baby,
Yeah, I feel you with that. My thing with the ride is, I've done things alone for so long, and the lessons that I learned were very lonely and dark, and a lot of things to build me up, to give me some sort of strength. I have so much love for the world and its pain that I believe my shoulders are big. I can carry shit. I can carry weight. So when you carry weight for other people, hold space, they call it. A you can help that person grow and see lessons that they might not have been able to see. And this is why I'm grateful for this platform that you have here, because it brings like-minded individuals together. And I think that is the beginning. I'm trying to wake people up so we can have a tribe pack, you know. But to get there, I mean, I know now I can't do things alone, and that's why I'm very grateful for what you're doing, because I mean, this is really great. Like, people are waking up. There's many people sleeping, but there is like a serious shift going on.
There is a shift.
It's age of Aquarius, man. Like, this is the time. Aquarians are like the coolest people. Like, they're air signs, man. I love astrology. I feel if you don't know about your sign, most people probably on here do, but if you don't, please look. Like, that's so important. Learn about yourself. Like, really learn about yourself. Don't let people decide for you. Creative thinking is not dead.
Yeah.
It's just coming into play.
No, I think curiosity is one of the basic attributes of the universal energy, period. I think that's how this whole thing started, you know. We're all
seeking.
Yeah. Asking, wondering, you know, pushing the envelope, stepping out. I mean, it's all just, we're basically copying what happened with the original, you know, some people call Big Bang, if that's applied to this universe. I mean, I always picture one giant soul, and then it splits, and then it continues splitting, but it's the same thing that drives it, is that curiosity, like you're talking about.
I
agree. You know, that yearning to grow. You know,
my fear is, at what point did complacency and comfort come in to rob of creative thinking, to allow us to divide between the collective? Like, I can't believe that two people, like, I mean, remove value. What has become valuable in life is killing my soul, because they value things, boats and cars and houses, and a house is a block of money unless you turn it into a home. And the only way to get a home is by having a family, and the only way to have as a family was with love. So if you ain't got that, let me tell you something, you're valuing the wrong things, honey, because seriously, this is a bad thing we got going on here. This idea, it's an idea, and they sell that shit. And I just go, I mean, being given the gift of sight, I see bullshit for bullshit, but like, to think at some point they actually thought they could sell you love. I mean, that is some manipulative shit right there, because you've really actually convinced people that emotions are not valuable. Connections are not valuable. There's value in shit, in things. Like, what do you mean? But they're buying it because they're so led and lost that they've just decided to just go where the frickin' shepherd leads them. But if the shepherd is a devious son of a bitch who's got ulterior motives, we've got a serious problem. And my fear is, I'm 36 and I feel, well, I mean, whatever, we all make mistakes. I believe the same as you. This is a routine. This has gone on many times. But I think that for this life, the physical one that I'm in right now, you know, my family, my parents and their friends and you know, somewhat your generation, they missed the buck, because the middle class was up and coming and growing, and socialism was still a thing. They were, you know, we're still throwing money around, like everyone's feeling good and living good in where your feet hit the ground. People in other countries, I realize that it's been a struggle since the beginning. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying where we live in North America, we should have fought a lot harder in the 80s for what was really needing to be protected for now. And I get it. It's mistakes are made. This is how we grow. But my generation needs to know, we have to get loud. Like, it's not about getting loud. It's not about violence or anything like that. I live by love 100%. But I'm saying like Egypt taught us something. Like, if we hit the streets, we can make change, but we got to stick together, and we have to have we have to be articulate and intelligent and have conversations before we address the issue. And for me, it's like-minded individuals, because this way is boring, man. We work our ass off for nothing. They live in a world of negativity and hate. Most people are very unkind and aren't happy with themselves due to mental health and their own issues that they just choose not to process. But, you know, we will all struggle the same. Like, 1% of people live one way, but 99% of people live another way. So if we could remove value in a monetary standpoint, then we could really see that we're all really the same, and that we really want the same thing. But the only way to do that is to come together. So, I mean, I don't know how to do it. Like, this is,
well, I think there at some level it's happening anyway. You know,
Oh, I agree.
if we look at the signs or the synchronicities or whatever you want to call it with the stars alone, and then of course with all the intel that's coming in, you know, so many people like yourself pulling in infinite intelligence, sharing that information. I'm a big believer that what you pull in is first and foremost meant for yourself,
Yeah.
and then there's some parallel to it. If you can convey it to the collective, then somebody's going to pick up on it. And so
Yeah.
I've, you know, in 2000 plus shows, I've met a lot of people, including myself, who have the
Yeah.
same type of, and then it doesn't matter if it was a year ago or 10 years ago, because there is no linear, but they have the same charge, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, I've got this information, I want to share it. I want to serve the collective. And I love what you said, like, I don't know how to do it. But I think the way that I think, you know, there's a strong argument in my mind that we walked into these incarnations with, let's say, the Akashic record,
Okay.
with any and all things that had occurred. And now we're applying or adding to the equation our experience and producing an outcome that hasn't been produced before. We're actually creating new templates and new blueprints. A
I
lot of people,
agree.
yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like we're actually figuring it out. There's no owner's manual. But I was going to ask you, a lot of people that come on the show, they tend to have, you know, very similar wake up experiences, especially if you disregard the linear aspect, because some people's dark nights went on for yours is 20
Yeah.
years, or, you know, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it varies. But a lot of times there's a specific face or essence, or plural faces or essences, that the universal mind utilizes to communicate with an individual. Did you have any specific faces coming in, angelic, galactic, or is it just one universal voice?
Yeah, it was a universal voice. Yeah, it really was. It spoke like I heard it. You know, um, yeah, it was very clear. It was very to the point, short and sweet. Couple little things. It guided me for about 3 months. It showed me numerology symbols, symbols that it was clear enough that I picked up on them and Googled it and was like, okay, what's going on here? Why am I seeing 2277? What is this shit? Like, it
Yeah.
was in a weird, like, just like I said, like, I'm very aware, like, psychology is a big thing to me. I really enjoy it because I think that that's how, well, Carl Jung and things like this. I just think like we can do positive things with things that have been negative, but for me, it was a voice, very, universal calm suite, just basically help guide me with little things. And then I haven't heard it since because I believe it's given me a voice. So
I think that's part of how it goes, though. I think
I agree.
a lot of people attest to that, and it can come and
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
like
And I
you,
think if I were faltering or if I needed guidance, it would be back.
yeah. But it's
But people
interesting.
like you connect, so it's great.
Well, I mean, I think everybody does. I mean, I'm just saying there's been like this commonality, and I know it's happened with me. But you know, people will come on and say like, "Where did y'all go? Where did it go?" And it's almost like you get the information, and
Yep.
then now you've got to go out and embody it and actualize it,
Yep.
and you know, infuse
Yeah.
it into your consciousness in
Yeah.
a moment by moment physical consciousness in a dense
Yes.
atmosphere,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that somehow or another creates some type of ignition, you know,
Yeah.
to further expand the level of awareness and communication. And you know what, it doesn't come in always the same way, you know.
No.
I mean, it really
I,
doesn't.
I I love that. And I mean, I had a construction sales job in Vancouver. I mean, I did quite well. I quit that shit last week. I could care less because the universe has guided me in such a way where, and it's given me gifts and shown me things. And I mean, my hard work is like, I have a lot of energy. I'm a Scorpio. I just like business is my thing. I'm good at it, but art and music is more of my thing because
Yeah.
like I'm evolved now and I understand what that means. So for me, like letting go of the things that were holding me back and not letting me put 110% in this, it showed me that like it did in a roundabout way. No, not a voice or a face or an entity or something like that. Just lessons, showing me
Yeah.
lessons. And it's there for everybody. It's how much Kim Kardashian's ass you're willing to soak up in a day. You know how her ass might change because the chick puts shit in it. Okay. But we don't need to worry about that when we got a world of kids that can't eat and go to school and not have internet and not have access and grow and be great. And geez, I think like, oh man, like, I don't know, these big entities have got to get a dose of reality. And I think that in the children, we can do that, because with the children, we can really see change for the future.
Absolutely. And, you know, and there's a strong argument that they're coming in with a more aligned DNA and a higher frequency. Yeah. So it's like
damn right.
just their mere presence is elevating us anyway.
Yep.
So, you know, it's interesting that part. But another big thing that's starting to really get some traction in 2020 is self-responsibility, self-reliance, self-transformation. And to your point earlier, and I'll just put it this way, that people at least being open to the possibility that what alignment that they can rise to within themselves, what levels of transformation are actually more impactful on the collective than going out and protesting, marching, boycotting, giving speeches. I mean, that as within, so without. And I know that's kind of a hard pill to swallow for any of us that have gone through these human incarnations, but there seems to be some real proof in pockets and cells around the world where people come together, two or more gather, and they can actually expand the singular, you know, that an individual has in terms of their influence on the collective grid. I don't know. What's your thought on, you know, your own personal transformation? Did you see changes that seemed indirect in the circles around you, such as family and friends?
Oh, well, here's the thing is that for me, I'm the only one that's really woken up. Is that what you mean? Like, have I seen other family members or other instances where I'm seeing change?
Well, I mean, and that's another characteristic of pretty much everybody, including myself, that's come on here. I mean,
no, but like, I mean, becoming woke. Like no one else. I only know one.
I don't know. I don't think becoming woke. I would say in terms of, you know, like begets like. So, for instance, as an example, a couple of things, because I just want to address a couple of things. One is it was it was with me and pretty much everyone I've talked to, that when they woke up, first of all, they were basically, you know, blackballed, at least energetically, from their families. Like they were seen proportionate to their own relationship prior to it. They were seen as totally different and out there, like you just quit your job. I'm sure that some of your family members are going, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, so that's that one part of it is that, and one of the symptoms of that, or one of the characteristics that I noticed about it, was people that just woke up. They'd come out and go, "Hey, man, nobody's listening to me, man. How come they're just not getting it?" And then at some point, the person realizes and goes, "You know what? That doesn't matter. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing." But getting back to what I said originally, or what I asked, was that as you personally transform, whether it be people around you or living accommodations or any other form of abundance, that as you personally transform, have you seen any evidence that the universe is reciprocating, whether it be people matching your frequency, people that don't match your frequency falling away, finding grace and synchronicities in the flow of your everyday life as you, for instance, leave this traditional job making great money and move into the starving artist category as far as the world's concerned, things like that.
Absolutely. And I think it's, you know, because I was in Earth School for 20 years learning my hard drug addict lessons, it's built a tough exterior, and it's allowed me to become very okay with not having much. Now, again, like I'm fortunate. I'm okay. I have a place and all of that. And because since the shift, I'm a totally different person. Like, I mean, I write differently. I did a lot of poetry and music before, but like I'm completely different. Like my family cannot believe that, like, the individual that sits in front of them when I came back home, because I was really not a part of my family for many, many years. And they have reciprocated in a way, like they're like, Justin's on to something. Like, this boy has changed. Like, and everything he speaks is truths and authenticity and love. And he sees positivity in the most negative things. He'll find a positive aspect. Yeah. So I feel like my energy and my direction and my outlet is put into the same things, which I'm very great, or into individuals that need it. So that gives me motivation that I am, because I can't change the world if my family's hurting. Like, if my family's hurting, I got to make sure that they're cool first. So my support system is really good and grounded, and as well as practicing what I'm trying to preach. Like, I don't talk cheap, right? So I'm a doer. So I need to, and in order to work with people, like, you have to have like experiences and studies kind of things, right? So what more better people than to do with my parent, like my family, my entire family. I'm very fortunate. We have a cottage with like my whole family up in Northern Ontario comes to, and there's like 60 of us, right? So I see cousins and aunts that I would never normally see. Oh yeah, I'm quite fortunate.
You guys have your own little planet over there.
A kind of a compound, but let me tell you this, the compound was corrupted with negativity, drama, and divide.
As a reflection of the macro.
Yeah.
It's a good laboratory to learn in.
Wonderful. And you know what? I'm making frickin' progress, man. And the progress is, even if I'm planting seeds, they're watering them, they're growing. Yeah. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that's another dynamic that you would see. And I've seen it in my family. And of course, it might be.
I heard about your kids, talking to your kids and stuff. I thought that was so great. I thought, good for you. Like,
yeah, but you know how, I mean, it's like I like what you said a minute ago. Like, Justin came back into the family circle and he was totally different. Like, where's the Kool-Aid he's drinking? Because I might want to sip on some of that in secrecy, so everyone else doesn't know, or maybe have a conversation with him that nobody else knows about. But I guess what I'm getting at, it's like, well, let me ask you this. You have the same drive that so many people do, which is, I want to share this. I want to serve the collective. Are you a practitioner? How do you work with people? You talk about you've been working with some of your family in the compound, but I mean, do you have certain methods or particular skills that you honed in on?
Yeah, for me, well, I lead by example. So if I choose to remain from letting negativity in my life, I just don't live with negativity. That doesn't mean I don't have bad days. I have bad days, but it's how you react to a bad day that puts out into the world. Your reaction is everything. So just because all the things go wrong for me in a day, I don't let that spoil my day. It's a day. I mean, I'm looking on the water. I'm sitting right beside a creek right now, water. Some things didn't go good for me this morning. And that's cool, because I got my family as a support system and my friends are there for me. So I guess one of the things is understanding I can't do it alone. Connection is key. So I work with that a lot. But because of such a heavy past, they know, people I know really know they know I'm coming from a truthful place. So they know what I tell everybody this: in order to appreciate good, you have to appreciate bad. And in order to appreciate and encompass love and negativity, we have to encompass positivity and hatred. The only way is to be full circle. And the only way to get there is to understand, respect, and appreciate the full circle. Right. So for me, if you want to know how I live and teach, that's how I'm impacting the world is what I quit my job for. I'm starting a podcast now. My mother is one of the greatest humans in the world. I absolutely love her because she never gave up on me. Wow. And to me, she's very, very special because I was never a bad person, but I did some bad things. And she suffered greatly from that. But the thing is, with where we are with society, I mean, I have to figure out how I can impact it. So because of my experience and the lessons I learned, I'm going to impact the mental health and addiction side of things. This is something I can carry. I said I had big shoulders before, massive. I can carry weight. I can carry shit. Now, for me and my family, a lot of the mothers, they're like, whatever, middle class, right? We understand what that means. Like soccer moms in homes that society, they pretend in society, they live in a cookie cutter life. We have no issues here. Problem is that mental health and addiction is in 80% of the homes. And I believe that number is actually higher, but I'm going to say 80.
I think it's higher.
I do too, but let's just say 80 for sake of argument. So with that, people like my mother have nobody to turn to. And I mean, we're talking mothers. They're like many, many, many of them, and fathers. I'm not taking away from that. But people that have no one to talk to. I'm 36. I'm a normal kid. I had a normal life, and I put my parents through hell because they couldn't understand what I was going through. So how I'm going to impact the world to begin is I'm going to hold shit for mothers and fathers. I'm going to help them. So my podcast is called Affliction by Addiction. My first episode is called Confessions. I do it on Friday. The platform is going to, I need to obtain trust and credibility. And in order to do that, Confessions is my story. So I'm going to explain it in its entirety. And it's heavy. It's pretty heavy. I mean, I'm really good at things when I'm good at things, and being a piece of shit drug addict.
I'm with you too, bro.
Yeah, I was really good at that. So being heavy on my mama, I was real heavy on my mama. So I'm going to gain credibility by telling my story. Yeah. I'm going to gain trust by having my mother come on and have her talk, and we're going to film it. It'll be on YouTube and stuff, because I need people to see who I am, what my parents look like, because they're probably looking like your parents or somebody you know with the same issues. And the comfort level and trust and respect that I have for them is my utmost. That's my foremost point, is to gain trust and respect and have empathy, because I am an empath. Truly. I mean, I feel people that I don't even know when I reach them, and they're like, how could you know that? Something I don't understand. It's very new to me, but I am 100% an empath. That's a real thing. So moving forward, I mean, like, yeah. So the show will be based like this. I'll have a WhatsApp line, and I'm going to bring guests on because I enjoy researching things. I want to make a difference. So I'd like the show to be intelligent, not just drama. I'm not about it. Right. So for that, I want to help with many facets of addiction. But to begin, mothers, fathers will be able to call in. And if you got nobody to talk to, or you need someone to talk to about what's going on, I'm here. And I mean, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist, but I got 20 years of real world experience, and I only speak authentically and truthfully. So if you don't have anyone to talk to, and you'd like to talk to someone for 10 to 15 minutes, I'm your guy. And I'll only be truthful and try and help you, because I don't want to make people feel better. I want to help change their situation. There's a big difference. I'm not here to get whatever I can from you to give you a moment. I'm tired of moments. Moments have run out. We need to make change. We need to really do something different. And I can't change the world yet, but I'm figuring out how to do it. So I'll change it one mama, one papa at a time. You know what I mean? That's my deal. That's what I'm trying to do.
So your premiere is going to be on Friday.
Yes, Friday is my first episode. Right. So I'm pretty excited. It's something that my focus was, it's always been there, but it's held me back to grow because freaking my job. So I knew the universe told me like that day, showed me like, okay, you got two ways to do this, buddy. Like you had reached out to me.
Was there a given moment when this happened? I know there was.
Yeah. Like, when you reached out to me, when Lalani, I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but
I do the same thing. Lalani.
Yeah.
I do this. I say that I never can get it right either.
Okay. Lalani. Yeah. That was my moment. And I right then and there, I looked at that message. I did my, my last Facebook video in Vancouver on the condo issue, and I quit my job right there and then.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Far out, man.
Oh yeah, bro. I mean, this platform, me with my heart and my soul, and I believing in myself and believing in my intuition, but not just believing in myself. My freaking mother believes in me. And I mean, the power of believing in an individual is endless. It's absolutely endless, because when you really believe in someone, Jesus, you give them hope, and not just hope, it's support.
Yeah. And I think the other thing about that is too, I mean, if you look at the reality from a higher perspective, and you talked about this a minute ago with the full service, the full spectrum, you can't have one without the other, is that when you believe in somebody, you're really believing in yourself. And by the same token, when you degrade somebody, when you don't encourage somebody, I mean, the truth is, I mean, and we've been on that. We've been there. We've all been there. It doesn't feel good when somebody tells you that you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you're not this, or you're not that. because we're already getting the shit beat out of us from our ego anyway. And we've taken many, many years and many incarnations to get a handle on that and get on top of that. But,
Yeah.
when we speak negatively, to the external, which is the universe, which is because the universe, I'm looking at myself in every single thing I see, everything I feel from a higher sensitivity, from my five human senses. It's all me. And if I'm going to damn something out there, I'm damning myself. And I know that sounds new ageist and cliche-ish, but
I like it.
the fact is that I can only love the universe as much as I love myself, which means I can only love something external as much as I love myself. And therefore, everything I put out is a reflection of my own thing. That's why I love watching transformational stories and listening to them like yours, because the energy that you're putting out, it's not the words, and it's not the podcast. So these are parts of it. These are physical representations of it. It's actually the energetic field that you're carrying that's lighting people up. It's the energetic field that you're carrying that when you came back into the family circle, the family was going, hey, what Kool-Aid is he drinking? Because something has shifted, and that's contagious. That's the real virus.
Yeah.
That's
And
virus.
and I'll agree with that. And if you're asking what support the universe is giving me, it's showing me that these people are down for drinking the Kool-Aid. It's cool because it gives me hope. It just gives me so much hope. I mean, I think right now COVID could teach us a lot. Like, instead of being crippled by fear, I think every single person that's not woke and that's watching this, throw your TV in the garbage. Yep. Like, honest to God, throw your TV in the garbage, make your own choices. Don't let people fear drive you anymore.
I totally agree with you on that. I got a download this morning, and it wasn't really for me, I don't think, because I'm not really that immersed in the narratives that are being put out there. But it was like, hey, I tell you what triggered it was I had a couple of videos removed, and I got a nice friendly letter from YouTube, and we're getting suppressed on Facebook. I thought, censoring. And I thought, well, wait a minute. So it came in and it was basically, hey, you guys are being censored by this, basically this matrix or whatever you want to call it. You can turn around and censor it. You can censor anything out of your field that you want. A lot of people talk about their Facebook feed, and they'll say that they go in and they tailor make their Facebook feed for positive stuff, with positive energy and positive messages and positive people. So, we too can play at that game, and we're 99%. We're not one.
Love it. That's a great outlook. And I mean, this is why this was so important to me to do today. I've been so excited about it because I'll tell you, one of the things that I hope to gain from this today is I love to learn, but I learn very well when I'm taught through real people and real experience. Like, I tend to learn hard lessons when I'm, left to my own decisions. But if I have a teacher, teaching is very, very important. So I've been I've been trying to navigate this whole shift myself. And it's been interesting because I don't know many people that can help me grow. And I do have people, like, I'm very fortunate for a couple of people in Winnipeg that have stepped up and seriously become like guides for me in philosophically, psychologically, emotionally. I'm very, very grateful for them. And I also believe that many hands to raise a village. You're given parents, sure, but don't be closed off to other people's experiences and shared thought. Do what you will with that information. But geez, man, I mean, I love my parents for all that they are, but I'm very grateful to have 4 other ones. Many more than 4. But 4 that are close to me right now. I have lots of people that come into my life periodically and help me out for sure. But that's very important to know that.
Did you ever, through your waking up and through this past year, did you ever go am I going crazy? Am I losing my mind? Did I really hear that voice? And the reason I ask these questions is because there's a lot of people, to your own words a minute ago, there's a lot of people waking up. And they're having all kinds of experiences, whether it be visitations, dragons, elementals. I mean, all kinds of stuff. The voice, the singular voice, as you had. Have you ever had those moments where you've kind of doubted yourself?
No, personally, no, because the doubt was there for 20 years if I would make it through. And I am so lucky. I face opposition as challenge, and I love challenges. And if I get a no, I'll figure out how to get a yes later. I will never do it with deceit or negativity or something dishonorable. Never. I'll learn a way to figure it out.
Yeah.
And if the system be broken, then the system be broken. And that's something that I can face with awareness and honesty, and not defeat. That just helps me fuel a fire to bring more like-minded individuals higher up in whatever entity I'm trying to get through to, and bring some sort of social justice to that. Because I mean, that's what I'm trying. I'm just a social justice freedom fighter, man. That's all I try to do. Like, and I only fight with love. So I mean,
how do you? Let me ask you a question. How do you deal with? How do you address? And I'm talking about in reality, once you've done it, or whatever methods you use, or whatever your MO is, what is your level of energetic balance or imbalance? How do you try to stay in the middle ground, 0 point balanced, not get polarized when it comes to some of these global issues that are coming up that are extremely polarizing, and from a human perspective, even horrific and disgusting, and some people use the term evil. How do you address those things, and how do you best maintain your balance?
Okay, so that's a very good question, because that's very real. That's happening. Personally, because I'm an empath, I used to be able to consume, I'm going to call it this, but I do not believe that they're this, conspiracy theories and assumptions or facts hidden in other things that you should do your homework on and really check into, because there's a lot of truth in that stuff. But I used to be able to go deep into those and dive into that world and want to hold that and figure it out and want to get to the system that way. But that was the old me. Now I have figured out that yes, there are anomalies in the world, and there's some impurities that are trying to be forced onto us, and the manipulation and control that is happening can be stopped. And it can't be done in a day, and I can't do it by myself. Before, I would think that I could, and I would try, and I would fail, and I would go get high. But I don't do that anymore, because it doesn't work.
Can it be stopped? I love what you said, because you can actually take, and you know what I'm talking about. You can actually take the things that I just brought up, which is more of a global or collective experience, shared experience, versus you can take your own journey. How do you stop, addiction? How do you? So my question to that would be, would we be stopping anything, whether it be personal or collective? Would we be stopping anything, removing anything, or are we transforming in a collaborative effort with these things that we see as separate from us?
Well, here's the thing. I don't believe we need to change the world, because the world, let's be real, has made some bad moves. But if you look inside and you change you, I promise you, when you open your eyes and you see just like I see, not you in general, but everybody else, I promise you the garbage is going to be heavy, and you're going to want to change it. And you're going to see shit that's happening in a government like you never saw before. And you're going to say, well, this isn't right. We got to change this. The only way to change the world is to change you. And I don't really want to change anybody, but I would really like you to do some soul searching and honestly living with love. And oh man, life is a beautiful thing. But mental health, we have to be respectful of, like, learned behavior. Learned behavior is a horrible thing to society, because somebody else was too afraid to do something, they've taught someone else that now. And those people don't want to go outside of that because fear. So I understand how big of a task I'm really hoping can happen for humanity. And I know it's not going to happen to everybody the same way it happened to me. And geez, I would never want anyone to go through this shit I went through for 20 years to wake up. Cripes, that's insane. But I do know I can help with my experiences, and I believe that that's why we wake up, is that we can guide. And I can't do it all in a day, and I can't change the government tomorrow, but it's certainly an issue. But I know that if I can help people see inside, and addiction is a close thing to my heart. I can't just come through to this and go be some big business guy now and be some piece of shit who makes a lot of money and has 5 girlfriends and nice things now because I'm clean and it's cool. I can have money now. No, I don't want to do that. I could care less. I hate money. Money's shit. But it's a necessity in society because right now that's the tool we need to help people that can't make it. So because I'm fortunate for that, my way of trying to help is like just starting where it hit home for me first. And then when the journey grows, the journey is going to grow. And, you know, I love music and art and I want to get into some of that, do a fashion line. But when the journey takes me there. So for now, this is I really think a lot. Like creative thinking is art. I believe that. And I believe that people are lost from thinking and they should spend more time with their TVs off and Facebook.
Well, I think that's part of what's happening. I think that's part of what's happening with this beautiful divine orchestration with the COVID and the quarantine and the mask is energetically, it's the best thing that could ever happen to us. And
I agree.
Part of what's occurring is people are having to step out of the learned
behavior.
Yeah, the learned behavior. They're having to step out of that, which means they're required to think, and and when you think in that capacity, you are being creative. So you're thinking of what else can I do? What can I do different?
I don't mention. Sorry. Finish your thought.
No, I was just gonna say, not to mention the other side of the creative, or I would say even the curious or questioning mind, which is, why is this happening? Why are we doing this? Why are we all walking around, agreeing to do what we're told when there's no validation for it, and there's a lot of, people are starting to wake up, I think, is I guess what I'm saying, because the whole disclosure or conspiracy, information is getting louder and louder and louder.
Well, one of the things I really like I'm from Toronto, so like snowboarding is a big part of my life. When I was 19, I wanted to go to BC more than anything in the world because that's world-class snowboarding. So I got there and I lived in Whistler and I loved Whistler. And then I moved to Vancouver and I thought I was going to have this great experience, but I realized that Whistler is a collection of people from around the world that are there for a like-minded experience and experience things together because of the community created there. When I left that and moved to Vancouver and saw that they sequestered, divided people that were there for nature and love and harmony and beauty and connection, they divided that. They put a divide on it through money. And because other people in other countries love, like Canada, it's a beautiful country for sure. But absolutely, you have sequestered people and divided people in a way with a monetary value that is just atrocious, and that I couldn't even enjoy what I was doing. I was able to live there, and I did have a good lifestyle because of my job, and I worked hard for it. But there's a lot of my friends that work very hard, but they don't, they're what they do is different from me. So, they don't have the same opportunities as me, and that pisses me off because they're there for that reason, to enjoy life and to have that in its entirety, and to see that robbed from individuals, like based on, just being there for all the right reasons, but having this other system tell us, no, you can't do that because you don't have enough as the other guy. It's like, wait a minute, what? Like, that didn't sit well with me at all. And the love of like losing that love for being where I was. I mean, Vancouver is home to me. That's life. Like, when you live in Canada, man, that's the spot next to Montreal. Like, that's really the spot.
From what I can tell, there's a strong community over there.
Where's that, man? In Vancouver?
Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah. It's coming. It's growing.
So, all right. So like I said, you got a lot of energy. It's fantastic to see the fact that you're stepping up. Takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of balls.
Thank you very much.
And big props to you on that. I would recommend, if you a couple of people have asked, you've already got your YouTube channel. I would suggest that you go to my page on Facebook, because the live's on several pages, but there's more people on my page on Facebook. So go to that live, put in the comments your links. And I would also suggest that you do it on Soulology One Studios channel on YouTube, because it's live there as well.
Okay, wonderful.
On the YouTube comments. And
thank you.
And I would tell you too, since you're starting out like this, a Soulology group. It's a good place. There's about, I don't know, there's a lot of people and they're active. I mean, it's a very active group. It's a
Okay.
great place to put your videos out on.
Okay, thank you. I
and
really appreciate that.
yeah,
I'm really navigating blindly. I don't know what I'm doing.
no,
So I really
it's a good place. A
appreciate
lot
it.
of groups and a lot of
Really
shows have gained a lot
appreciate
of
it. Thank
traction
you.
from that group, and
Thank
then and as well. And I'd be happy to help you any way I can.
Thank
To
you.
include, I've had my own similar situations, similar stories, and things that we talked about earlier. And if you'd like to have me collaborate with you on your show, I'd be happy to do that sometime
Absolutely.
down the road.
Oh,
So
100%.
because we're all in this together.
Yes,
So,
bro. Yes. And
and then
I
as
really
far as
appreciate that.
Soulology
Thank
goes,
you.
yeah, absolutely. Thank
It's
you.
very
And as
nice
far
of
as
you.
Soulology goes, maybe we can, if you're up for it, we'll collaborate a little bit later in the year on this program again and keep the ball rolling.
Oh, I'd love that. Like, and I thought, like, what a stepping stone. This is like the beginning for me. Like, and for you to reach to me like that, man, I never forget people that help me. And you just, your ideas of being, it's so healthy to like, it's so comforting to like, oh my gosh, talk to someone else who's kind of
Right.
like me. Why are we rare? Why are we the rare ones?
I don't think we are rare. I think what's happening, I've seen a lot of evidence of it this year, is where people have been doing this, particularly women, 5, 10,
particularly
15,
women.
20 years of doing this stuff. I mean, I'm married to one, and
Oh, you lucky man.
they've been doing this in isolation, anonymity, without any kind of attention for years and years and years, and they're all starting to step up now. I've had a lot of them come on this year and say, hey, I didn't want to come on, but I've got these hands on my back. They're pushing me out there. I know it's time. So I think we're going to see that, I always say at the end of the day, we're probably going to find out that everybody's been beating at the same vibration the whole time. It just doesn't look that way. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. Anyway, best of luck to you. I'll be glad to help you any way I can.
Buddy,
thank you
I
again.
can't thank you enough. I just want to say, like, these are the people that have like helped me get to the spot. This is where I am today in my life.
Wow.
So to think that you can't do it, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? But thank you so much.
Right
I really
on,
appreciate that, Todd. Thank you, man.
All right, brother. Peace
Cool, bro.
out.
Have a great day.
Do it
Ciao.
again. You take care.